Attorney General Wilson, fellow South Carolinians, and all who long for justice. My name is Stuart Ralston, and I am the pastor of First Presbyterian Church in Sumter, South Carolina. And it's my privilege to be here today on behalf of a member of our congregation and our staff, the late Miss Sherry Redmond. Sherry was not only a member of our church, but she also ran the kitchen at the church, which made her a very important person. Sherry's gift was a true Southern passion, even though Sherry was quick to tell you that she was not from the South. Sherry's gift was taking care of people by feeding them. Almost a year ago, 2 weeks before Christmas, Sherry was shot to death in her own home. Sherry was killed by her ex-husband, who through the profound kindness and generosity only Sherry could muster, Sherry had taken back into her home because he was ill and unable to take care of himself, and no one else wanted to take him in. When I first came to the church, I thought it was odd that Sherry let her ex-husband live with her, but I soon learned that that was who Sherry is, kind to a fault, generous to her own demise. She had grown weary of the treatment she received from her ex-husband, and so for the second time in a year, she had eviction papers drawn up, and she showed them to him, letting him know that Friday was his last day in the home. A few hours later, the police were summoned to find Sherry's dead body on the floor. Our homes should be a sanctuary of peace and stability. We all have the right to feel secure in the place where we live. No one deserves to be abused, beaten, mistreated by those who they love. No one should have to tolerate verbal, physical, and emotional abuse day after day. We have a right to life, to our liberty, and to our own pursuit of happiness. Many, like Sherry, do not have the opportunity to enjoy such freedoms, and sometimes it's the kind, tender, loving, forgiving heart of someone like Sherry that has to endure the unthinkable. We have all gathered here today because we care, because we are tired of domestic abuse, domestic violence, and we want to see an end to these horrors. We gather to give witness to those who have endured, and we gather to always seek a better life and a better way. Please pray with me. God of compassion and mercy and love, we acknowledge that life is a gift from you, and we give thanks for the care and grace that you show to each of us. We pray for those injured by the anger and brutality of others, and we pray for the families of those who have lost one they love dearly. Strengthen each of us that we might have the energy and the determination to continue to work on behalf of those whose lives are still at risk. Give us tireless energy to not remain silent and to reach out to those in need. Thank you for gathering us together and for the opportunity to speak out. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Amanda Wiley. I'm a senior victim advocate at the Sumter Police Department. I'll be reading In Memoriam by William Morecambe. For a second you were flying like you always wanted to. Now you'll fly forever in skies of azure blue. We'll see your smile in every ray of sunshine after rain and hear the echo of your laughter over all the pain. The world's a little quieter now. The colors have lost their hue. The birds are singing softly, and our hearts are missing you. Each time we see a little cloud or a rainbow soaring high, we'll think of you and gently wipe a tear from our eye. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start by saying that thank you to everyone for being here today and for allowing me the opportunity to share my testimony. My name is Nudaira Tapia Cruz, and I'm 39 years old. I'm also known as Miss Popular, the host of the Most Popular podcast. I'm from Puerto Rico, but I was raised in the Bronx, New York. I currently reside in Columbia, South Carolina since 2021. I have a 17-year-old daughter who is a senior and a 15-year-old son in the 10th grade. I met my ex-boyfriend in January 2023, and by February, we became a couple. We lasted almost 2 years before it all ended. Within 4 months into the relationship, he choked me almost to death. Of course, he showed remorse and promised that he would never touch me again. Throughout the relationship, he tortured me psychologically due to his personal background and childhood trauma. This may sound insane, but I tried to break up with him from the moment I got with him. As time passed, I learned new alarming things about him, and I continued to try to leave the relationship. But it was hard. I cared for him, and I appreciated his commitment to trying his best to be a better man for me and my children. I kept telling myself that I should be grateful for having a hardworking man that was a provider and pleased me in every way. Eventually, I had to realize that I've been a single mother who has worked very hard to provide for my children and me in every way. Towards the last few months of the relationship, he began to continuously beat on me. Things only got worse. Every time I tried to break up with him, as a justification, he confessed to me that he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia bipolar and that he wanted to take his own life. I called the police a few times and made reports, but never put charges on him because I did not want him to go to prison. I felt bad for him, and I tried everything in my power to help him, but he declined. He had agreed to leave the house on December 31st, 2025, but meanwhile, he made my life a living hell. He became so outraged that he told me that he was going to frame me and create a lie that I was cheating on him so that he can kill me, and it would be considered a crime of passion because he was mentally ill. He and I were a power couple in the underground entertainment industry. He was an artist, and I'm a podcaster/fashionista. In my case, fame, power, envy, and jealousy, along with other personal reasons, played a big role in why things were not working out in my relationship. I was tired of being manipulated, harassed, and mentally/physically abused. Honestly, I knew from the beginning that my ex-boyfriend was not the man for me for many reasons, including the fact that he had been open about being a violent man and a woman beater. I believed and have faith that he wanted to change and be a different person. He tried to be a good man to me and my children. We shared a lot of good memories, and I wish that things would have ended differently because he had a lot to live for. Aside from our relationship issues, he was dealing with a lot of drama in his personal and professional life. He spiraled out of control, and eventually his mental illness took over his emotions and mental state. On Saturday, December 28th, 2024, I woke up early in the morning to prepare for my photo shoot and a red carpet hosting I had later in the day. I attempted to walk out the home to go to my car to grab my wallet. My ex-boyfriend chased me out the door and put his hands on me, assuming that I was getting in the car to leave. We started to argue and got into a physical altercation in my bedroom, in which he pulled out a gun. My kids came to my rescue and broke the door down. We all proceeded to calmly walk to the entrance door. I asked him if he was really going to shoot me in front of my kids, and not even 5 seconds after, my ex-boyfriend shot me on the leg in front of my 2 children. He dropped me off at the hospital and took the police on a high-speed chase, leading him to crash into 5 cars, leaving an innocent man and his dog dead at the scene. That same day, my ex-boyfriend shot himself and was pronounced dead at the hospital. It was one of the most horrific days of my life. I stayed quiet about the abuse I was enduring because I was too concerned about our reputation. I did not want him to go to prison, and I did not want my business to be exposed. I'm here today to beg and encourage all of you to please do not stay quiet and to seek help. Your life and well-being are more valuable than what people may think or have to say about you. Many times we get lost in the goodness of a romantic relationship and we overlook the negative. Love is not easy, and yes, it's normal to feel negative emotions, but there should be a limit. I just want to tell every woman and man that has been or is currently in an abusive relationship to please stay alert and do not ignore the signs. Abuse comes in different forms, whether it's physical, mental, sexual, financial, or emotional. I understand that sometimes it's not as simple to let go of someone that you love and have devoted your time and energy to. However, love is not supposed to hurt, make you feel depressed, stressed, or worthless. I keep a smile on my face, and I've pretended like this never happened to me as a way of coping to keep from breaking down. I think about my children and how this has affected them, so I try to stay strong and not show them my weakness. Since my tragic incident, I've been trying my hardest to move forward with my children by seeking therapy, praying, and staying occupied. I'm currently in a graduate school to receive my master's in trauma-informed education. This program has been helping me cope with my trauma and understand my triggers, which I advise all of you to do as a way to prevent distress. I am very grateful to everyone that has supported me through this healing journey, my family, friends, especially my best friend, Lakemia, and her mom, and her children who are here in the crowd, strangers that have sent me uplifting messages, the City of Columbia, the Attorney General's Office, Violence Against Women's Agency, and most important, to my children who are my everything. I am so happy and proud of being their mother. I also want to give a special thank you to the Hive Agency for supporting me financially and emotionally, as well as providing me with the opportunity to connect with all of you wonderful people today. Many prayers and best wishes go out to all of you that are or have been in my shoes, and to all the family members that are being affected as well. Please try to understand your triggers, take good care of yourself, and remember that it's okay to cry. I would love to connect with every single one of you, whether it's through a podcast interview or for moral support. I'm planning to host a fashion show to honor domestic violence victims and their families on November 2nd, 2025, here in Columbia, South Carolina. You don't have to be an experienced or professional model. This fashion show is to provide emotional support, build confidence, and to remind us that we are all beautiful, regardless of what we've been through. If you are interested in supporting the fashion show as a model or a guest, please grab a business card from me in the front or wherever you see me, and you can reach out to me on all my social media platforms at Most Popular Podcast. Thank you all for your time.
Good morning. This is my 15th silent witness as Attorney General, and I have to say, when I think about this event, it's kind of a bittersweet event for me. It's bitter because in order to have this event, we had to lose loved ones. We had to lose members of our community, citizens in our state, and everyone here feels connected by that. But it's sweet because it provides a vehicle or a venue for people to come together with a shared purpose, with a renewed energy, a renewed focus. Whether you're here to find hope, or whether you're here to find purpose, whether you're here to find a place to vent, we are all in the same community, and we are bonded together by this tragedy, and this event provides us that opportunity to come together as one community. And for that, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. I'm also grateful that I've done this event in sweltering heat, torrential downpours, and even in freezing cold, and I think today we lucked out, so I want to thank our Almighty for that. I also want to thank our speaker, Nudaira Tapio Cruz. Thank you. It takes a lot, not only to survive what you survived, but to stand up here in front of a lot of strangers, and even through your medium of your podcast, to be able to tell your story, knowing that someone out there will hear your story and will find that hope and know that they're not alone. So thank you for being here today and sharing your story with all of us. I want to thank the members of the Columbia College Choir under the direction of Aletha Jacobs. I want to thank Reverend Stuart Rawson from First Presbyterian Church in Sumter for the invocation. Thank you, Reverend. Amanda Wiley, Senior Victim Advocate from the Sumter Police Department. I want to thank her for reading our poem today. You will also hear at the very end, at the conclusion of this event, from Rabbi Eric Uriarte from Tree of Life Congregation for delivering our benediction. And of course, as always, our Sergeant Jimmy F. Ryan III, bagpiper from North Charleston Police Department, who you will also hear from. Our sound system and all of the electronics here today are provided by ACS Sound and Lighting for providing technical support. I want to thank them for that. I want to thank them for the assistance to ensure the success of this in-person and live-streamed event. Quick Copy and Franklin's Printing for producing this year's Silent Witness Memorial Booklet. We want to thank them, and also Darlene McCormick and Green Hill Baptist Church for providing us with our bell, which you'll hear in just a second. We have a large number of people who are here. Some of them are law enforcement leaders, elected leaders, victim services providers, nonprofit groups. They could serve in some elected capacity, and whatever your capacity, and everybody here is important. But I do want to at least recognize those who are here today, who are elected leadership, who provide funding, provide support, they pass the laws. They're out there helping us every day of the year. And so some that are here today, I want to give a quick thank you to Representative Cambrell Garvin, Representative Celeste Davis, Representative Harriet Hallman. We have several sheriffs here today, Sheriff Dwayne Lewis, Sheriff Anthony Russell. Dwayne Lewis is from Berkeley, Anthony Russell from Hampton County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Jay Kuhn from Lexington County, my hometown, and also Sheriff Lee Bone from Kershaw County. I believe we also have our Columbia Police Department Chief of Police, Chief Holbrook. I want to thank him for being here. We have members from the Greenville County Sheriff's Office, other members from the Kershaw and Sumter County Sheriff's Office. We have folks here representing the State Law Enforcement Division, the South Carolina Department of Probation, Parole, and Pardon Services, our coroner's offices from Bamberg and Berkeley counties. I'm told that our chiefs of police from Fort Mill, Chief Brian Zachary, Chief Terrence Green from the Lexington Police Department, Chief Dana Crowell, North Myrtle Beach Police Department, and Chief Rodney Bond from Denmark Technical Department of Public Safety. We have members from Casey Police Department, City of Charleston Police Department, the Columbia Police Department, the Florence Police Department, Forest Acres Police Department, Greenville Police Department, Lawrence Police Department, and the Sumter Police Department. We do have members here today from the 5th Circuit and 13th Circuit Solicitors Offices. We also have executive directors from various victim services provider and nonprofit organizations like Sarah Barber with South Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, or SCADVASA. We have Ashley Olienka from the Hive Community Circle. Adrian Woods is here, Safe Passage Incorporated, and Ellen Hamilton PD Coalition. We have Cleardis McDonald Amaker from YWCA of the Upper Lowlands. We have members from the Durant Children's Center, Meg's House, Pathways to Healing, the Care House of the PD. We have members from McLeod Regional Medical Center, Sumter County DSA, Zonta of Columbia. And I know that there are people here whose names I did not read out, and you probably showed up and we didn't catch you, but just because your name was not read or you were not recognized does not mean that you were not appreciated. I also have to end with the thank yous with the men and women of the Attorney General's Office. This week at this time is the State Solicitors Conference, and that is where many of our prosecutors, investigators, victims advocates go for their annual legal education to get their CLEs and other requirements met, and so we're kind of short-staffed today. So many of our staff are not here, as well as from the solicitors' offices, but they would be here but for the fact that they have to get that training. But we have so many who made this event a possibility. I just walked up, they handed me the sheet, but they did all the work, and I want to give them the credit. So in no particular order, I want to first lead with Monique Garvin. And I don't know where Monique is. If she's raising her hand under the tent. Monique is the chief cat herder. She is the person that really is the leader, and I want to thank you, Monique, from the bottom of my heart for all you do for the VAWA and human trafficking sections of our office. Matthew Benfield, Olivia Tisseth, James Massey, Mark Cardwell, Veronica Smith, Ashley Bishop, Mandy Bowden, Blake Easter, Chris Brunswick, Cameron Singleton, Melanie Williams, Faith Turner, Heather Weiss, Caroline Avant Hughes, Megan Raymer, and Patrice Scott. There are other staff who are in the background as well who made this day possible, including our IT director, Dennis Young, PIO, Robert Kittle, Ken Davidson, David Little. And I could go on and on and on, and I'm going to spare you that. But what you need to know is a lot of people came together to create a vehicle and a venue for us to remember our loved ones and to recognize this issue here in South Carolina. I want to thank all of the staff and volunteers that are holding silhouettes, and the family members, especially the family members and the loved ones of the victims who are being honored here today. You do not want to be here. The reason you are here is because something horrible, horrific, and tragic occurred. But you are here nonetheless. And please know this, you are not alone. We have so many others, but I would like to turn to the program at this time and recognize that this year marks the 28th annual Silent Witness Ceremony. This is where the South Carolina Attorney General's office honors the men and women who lost their lives due to domestic violence in 2024. Through this ceremony, we aim to bring attention to the ongoing public health and criminal concern of domestic violence within our state. Since 1996, the National Domestic Violence Hotline has received over 7 million calls, chats, and texts from people impacted by domestic violence. Outreach to the hotline continues to skyrocket at an alarming rate, reaching upwards of 3,000 contacts a day. This year's Domestic Violence Awareness Month theme, highlighted by the hotline, is, quote, "with survivors, always," end quote. The theme that I just mentioned emphasizes the importance of supporting survivors at every stage of their journey towards safety and wellness. Partnership and collaboration are the cornerstone of our state's ability to combat domestic violence and support victims. Our community's safety depends on each of us to break the cycle of violence and hold perpetrators accountable. The Violence Policy Center releases its annual When Men Murder Women report, which provides rankings of each state's female homicides. In 2023, they suspended their state ranking as the FBI transitioned to a new reporting system. This year's publication analyzed data related to female homicides perpetrated by males in 2023. The national report found that 9 out of 10 women murdered by men in 2023 were killed by someone that they knew, and a firearm was used in 64% of those homicides. In South Carolina, the National Network to End Domestic Violence released data from the 19th Annual Domestic Violence Counts Report, which analyzed domestic violence programs in all 50 states over a random 24-hour period. Within that random 24-hour period, South Carolina received approximately 4 contacts per hour and served 688 victims. In 2024, the state of South Carolina reported 46 domestic homicides, 35 of them women, 11 men. 91% of the incidences occurred at a place of residence. 50% of the women and men represented in today's ceremony were the mothers and fathers of children whose homes will never be the same. This experience will impact them long after this ceremony ends. Domestic violence has lasting impacts on our children and our communities throughout all stages of life. Children who witness violence are more susceptible to experiencing abuse in their dating relationships when they become older, as teenagers and young adults. They are more likely, statistically, to perpetrate or become victims to domestic violence in adulthood and more likely to experience chronic health conditions. This is not the future our children deserve. Each silhouette represented today is more than a statistic or a piece of wood. It is a life that ended too soon and a reminder of the loss experienced by families and our communities. This ceremony reminds us that every life lost to domestic life was a life of value and a life of purpose. We honor their memory by strengthening our commitment to justice, protection, and the prevention of violence. Although most domestic violence incidents take place in private, domestic violence has public consequences and requires a shared responsibility. Let's continue to stand with the survivors through awareness, training, resource building, advocacy, and action. Thank you. Thank you all for responding to the call to serve through your continued efforts and dedication to the women, men, and children of South Carolina. At this time, I will now share the silent witness names reported from the year 2024. We ask that you remain silent until all of the names have been read. Then we will depart in silence as Sergeant Ryan plays Amazing Grace on the bagpipes. The names in this book were compiled using incident reports from local law enforcement and data from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. All defendants are presumed innocent unless and until they are proven guilty in a court of law. We will now begin. Greg Bowman, 43 years old, Aiken County. Tiffany Britt, 43 years old, Aiken County. Jessica Barnes, 20 years old, Anderson County. Sally Brainerd, 74 years old, Anderson County. Keenan Turman, 33 years old, Anderson County. Megan Bodiford, 25 years old, Bamberg County. Stephanie Fries, 46 years old, Beaufort County. Kiona Lucas, 25 years old, Berkeley County. Tracy McAvoy, 43 years old, Berkeley County. Katie Sullivan, 38 years old, Berkeley County. Glendy Rakinkaj, 29 years old, Charleston County. Adrian C., 38 years old, Charleston County. Natasha Singleton, 37 years old, Charleston County. Shanita Roberts, 45 years old, Cherokee County. Robin Gano, 58 years old, Clarendon County. Charity Crowley, 39 years old, Darlington County. Anthony Hudson, 57 years old, Darlington County. Jasmine Anderson, 29 years old, Dorchester County. George Yorn, 44 years old, Fairfield County. Lorenzo Durant, 38 years old, Florence County. Michaela Isaiah, 37 years old, Florence County. Derek Jones, 45 years old, Florence County. Mary Ellen Besant, 41 years old, Greenville County. Colleen Dortona, 40 years old, Greenville County. Michez Fowler, 46 years old, Greenville County. Anissa Henderson, 55 years old, Greenville County. Maria Hernandez, 40 years old, Greenville County. Cassandra Gordon, 31 years old, Hampton County. Tyranda Bellamy, 43 years old, Horry County. Michael Frederick Smith, 64 years old, Horry County. Daisha Johnson, 34 years old, Kershaw County. Rachel Jennings, 79 years old, Lawrence County. Raven Graves, 31 years old, Marion County. Levon Griddle, 36 years old, Orangeburg County. Douglas Strock, 48 years old, Orangeburg County. Amber Riddle, 38 years old, Pickens County. Chandrika Graham, 31 years old, Richland County. Dominique Palmero Pohl, 32 years old, Richland County. Tiante Lewis, 31 years old, Spartanburg County. Joseph Croft, 52 years old, Sumter County. Jennifer Cruz, 33 years old, Sumter County. Shirley Evermond, 86 years old, Sumter County. Joan Mogensen, 61 years old, Sumter County. Antoine Demond Pugh, 34 years old, Sumter County. Sherry Redmond, 79 years old, Sumter County. Tina Norman, 39 years old, York County. Unknown. Domestic violence affects us all. Domestic violence does not discriminate by gender, race, or ethnicity. People in every socioeconomic status experience this type of violence. Domestic violence victims are all around us in our neighborhoods, workplaces, and in our places of worship. Therefore, let us have a moment of silence to remember those victims of whom we are unaware. Thank you.
Friends, in the Jewish tradition, we have a concept called Shalom Bayit, or peace in the home. Nowhere is that peace more threatened than with the specter of domestic violence. The place that we are supposed to give hospitality, give caring, give safety, give comfort is uprooted. And those people that we are supposed to look to for that safety, that love, that care, and compassion instead rip it away from victims of domestic violence. Just as we are all responsible for bringing Shalom Bayit in whatever way our individual traditions or cultures might define it, so too are we reminded that the most vulnerable people in the place that is supposed to be their safety become victims to that horrible, horrible crime. For all of those names that have been read, there are assuredly countless others that we do not know about. Because for every physical manifestation of that violence that appears on bodies, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of wounds that afflict us mentally, emotionally, socially, financially. This is a crime that transcends race, gender, ethnicity, culture, sexuality, or any of the other ideas that are supposed to make us unique and bring us together. And instead, domestic violence rips that away. I ask us now to pray or reflect in our own traditions. May we work toward a day when the names listed at events like these become fewer and fewer, and perhaps one day be gone altogether. May we work to give support and empathy to those victims of domestic violence so that the cycle stops with them. May we give rebuke and compassion to those people who fear they are going down the road of being a domestic abuser so that they can receive the help and the education that they need to stop their ways. May we continue to elevate the names of all of those who are victims of this horrific crime, no matter who they are, so that we can remember them for a blessing that will hopefully end domestic violence. May we look to our left and our right and see family, whether they are blood or they are by choice, and offer them Shalom Bayit, because if they cannot find it in their own home, it is up to all of us to grant it to them, to show them the way of compassion, of love, and caring that transcends all of our cultures and traditions. And may we, in the words of the great Rabbi Tarfon 2,000 years ago, know that domestic violence is one of those things that we may never solve in our lifetimes, but to which we are obligated to continue the work of doing so. Amen, and may it be so.
This concludes the ceremony. May God be with you as you return to your homes. Thank you.